The love of God, the grace of our Lord Jesus Christ, and the community of the Holy Spirit be with you all. We join together in the call to worship this morning. God is creating something new.
New hope, new life, new beginnings.
We gather to open ourselves to God's creative spirit,
Moving among us, in us, through us.
May God transform us today
And shape us into new creations.
Our opening hymn is number 314, God is Love.
God is love, come heaven adoring. God is love, come earth rejoice. Come creation voices soaring, sing exalting with one voice. God who laid the earth's foundation, God who spread the heavens above, God who breathes through all creation, God is love, eternal love. God is love, whose arms enfolding all the world in one embrace, with unfailing grasp are holding every child of every race. And when human hearts are breaking under sorrow's iron rod, all the sorrow, all the aching, rings with pain the heart of God. God is love, and though with blindness sin afflicts all human life, God's eternal loving kindness guides us through all earthly strife. Sin and death and hell shall never o'er us final triumph gain. God is love, so love forever, o'er the universe must reign.
We acknowledge that Knox, Waterloo is located on the traditional territory of the Anishinaabe and Haudenosaunee and neutral peoples. We seek a renewed relationship with our neighbors, one that is based on honor and deep respect. We give thanks for the ability to gather, worship, work, and meet here. We cannot change the past, but we continue to share in the work of healing and reconciliation, respectfully following the leadership of Indigenous communities and leaders. Welcome to worship at Knox, Waterloo this morning. We are so grateful for your presence with us, whether you are joining us on live stream, on radio, or later on YouTube. We are so glad that you are here. Let us continue our prayer. God of all ages, in you we discover the fullness of time. Every moment we have the chance to breathe in your goodness and grace. Every hour we have opportunities to share your love and hope. Every day we have occasions to rest in the comfort of your heart. Companion of our days, in you we discover the fullness of life. In every challenge we face, we find the strength to persevere. In every person we meet, we can find the blessing you have sent. In every need we encounter, we can find the help you would have us offer. Promised Spirit, In you, we discover the fullness of faith. In every conflict of our lives, there is your healing we can offer. In every brokenness we experience, there is that reconciliation we can receive. In every difficulty which makes us stumble, there is that dance of hope you would teach us. It can be a struggle as we travel through the days of time, as we live out each week. Life is filled with so many juxtapositions that it can turn us upside down. One day, we're waiting for the sky to fall, and the next, we're dazzled by the beauty of it all. Guide us through these seemingly opposite realities, these opposing realities, and may your Spirit enliven us to be lovers even in the midst of the most dangerous of times. We confess that from the same lips we sing your praises and also speak harsh words towards a family member or friend. We know your healing grace, but at the same time, the broken chords of anger and pain echo deep within us. We dance in the circle of your love, and yet we know how quickly we have turned away from opportunities to serve your people. Forgive us. Open us up to both the complexity and the fullness of life in you. God in community, holy in one. In you we discover a new way of life that we long for, even as we sing together the words that Jesus taught us.
Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us all of our sins, as we forgive those who sin against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For the kingdom, the power, the glory are yours, now and forever.
Siblings in Christ, take comfort in the assurance that even those things that are hidden from memory or too deep for our words are not beyond God's forgiving love. God knows us completely, grants pardon and peace. Thanks be to God.
The peace of the earth be with you, the peace of the heavens too. The peace of the rivers be with you, the peace of the oceans too. Deep peace falling over you. God's peace growing in you.
Good morning. Today we're thinking a little bit about how Jesus calls us to live when times in life are hard or dangerous even. I'd like to teach you a song today. It's a song that comes from South Africa. South Africa is a beautiful country. I've never been there, but I've seen pictures, and I've spoken with people who've lived there who say it's a beautiful country. In the second half of the 1900s, though, there was a government who was running South Africa. They were not very fair. They instituted a program called apartheid. And what the government was run by people who were white-skinned. And what they did is they let all of the white-skinned people live in these particular places, these beautiful places in the country, and make decisions about the country. And they said that those who have black skin have to live in other places in the country. They can't have certain jobs. They have to carry ID cards wherever they go, and they're not allowed to vote. They're not allowed to participate in the decision-making of the country. It was a very, very hard time for black people in South Africa. And the government, when they started this program, they did something really smart. Do you know the first thing the government did when they instituted apartheid? They kicked all of the musicians out of the country, all of the professional musicians, because the government knew that people love music and people are empowered by music. So if you get rid of all the musicians and the people who make music, then it's easier to control the people you want to control. Well, what the government in South Africa did not know is that when they kicked out all the professional musicians, what would happen is people would start making their own music and singing their own songs and writing new songs as a way of resisting the harm and the oppression of the government. Some people in South Africa, some of the black people picked up guns too. There was a military resistance to the government, but way more people sang songs as a way of resisting. It was really beautiful. There's some beautiful songs. You go to a church on a Sunday morning and there would be singing just in multi-part harmony, 4-part harmony all the time. People would be walking down the streets and they would be doing a demonstration in the street, a peaceful demonstration, and they'd be singing in 4-part harmony. That was how they resisted. In a time when life was very dangerous for black people in South Africa, they resisted the government, and they lived in the danger by singing, by proclaiming a message of hope and maybe even some joy. This song that I'm going to teach you today, I have a recording of it. I recorded this a few months ago, back when we were able to have our hair cut. And it's called Hamba Nathi. And that's in the language of Zulu, which is one of the languages in South Africa. And Hamba Nathi, Kululu Wetu, it means, come walk with us, the journey is long. And that was one of the songs that they sang. They were singing it to the whole world. They were asking for help. Help us in South Africa because we need help. Come walk with us, the journey is long. So we're going to sing it today, and we're going to sing it as kind of a prayer of solidarity with all the people in the world, not only our sisters and brothers and siblings in South Africa, but all over the world where people are living in danger, where people are finding life to be hard because of pandemic or health or war or whatever circumstance they're in. This is a song of hope. It's a song of resistance, but it's mostly a song in inviting us to be Christ for one another and to help each other along the way. Let's learn the song now.
It goes like this. We will follow, you show us the way. You show us the way. We will follow. You show us the way. You show us the way. Let's put that together and sing it through twice. It goes like this. We will follow. You show us the way. 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 And then there's another part, and you repeat the last part of the line a couple of times. You show us, you show us, you show us the way. You show us, you show us, you show us the way. You show us, you show us, you show us the way. You show us, you show us, you show us the way. Now let's learn some of the Zulu. It's pretty easy. It's kind of fun. Hamba nati kulula wetu. So we'll break it up. Hamba, nati, kulula, wetu. And it sings like this. Hamba nati kulula wetu. Hamba nati kulula wetu. Hamba nati kulula wetu. Hamba nati kulula wetu. Kulula, kulula, kulula wetu. Kulula, kulula, kulula wetu. Kulula, kulula, kulula wetu. Kulula, kulula, kulula wetu. Once we get singing, you'll hear some other harmonies come in. I pre-recorded those. You can join in on those harmony parts, or you can sing the melody line. You can sing whatever you'd like. The words will appear on the bottom so that it's easy for you to join in. So let's sing this together. Hamba nati kululu wetu. Hamba nati kululu wetu. Hamba nati kululu wetu. Hamba nati kululu wetu. Kululu, kululu, kululu wetu. Kululu, kululu, kululu wetu. Kululu, kululu, kululu wetu. Kululu, kululu, kululu wetu. We will follow. We will follow. You show us the way. We will follow. We will follow. You show us the way. We will follow. We will follow. You show us the way. We will follow. We will follow. You show us the way. You show us. You show us. You show us the way. You show us. You show us. You show us the way. You show us, you show us, you show us the way. You show us, you show us, you show us the way. Come walk with us. Come walk with us, the journey is long. Come walk with us. Come walk with us, the journey is long. Come walk with us. Come walk with us, the journey is long. Walk with us. Come walk with us, the journey is long. The journey, the journey, the journey is long. The journey is long. The journey, the journey, the journey is long. The journey is long. The journey, the journey, the journey is long. The journey is long. The journey, the journey, the journey is long. Share our burden. Share our burden and join in the song. Share our burden. Share our burden and join in the song. Share our burden. Share our burden and join in the song. Share our burden. Share our burden and join in the song. Join in the song. Join in and join in and join in the song. Join in the song. And join in and join in and join in the song. Join in the song. And join in and join in and join in the song. Join in the song. And join in and join in and join in the song. Come uplift us. Come uplift us. You bring us new life. Come uplift us. Come uplift us. You bring us new life. Come uplift us. Come uplift us. You bring us new life. Come uplift us. Come uplift us. You bring us new life. You bring us. You bring us. You bring us new life. You bring us. You bring us. You bring us. You bring us new life. You bring us. You bring us. You bring us new life. You bring us. You bring us. You bring us. You bring us new life. Hamba nati. Hamba nati kululu wetu. 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 Kululu, kululu, kululu wetu. Kululu, kululu, kululu wetu. Kululu, kululu, kululu wetu. Kululu, kululu, kululu wetu.
The reading today comes from Mark 6, verses 14 to 29. Jesus' name had become known. Some were saying, John the Baptizer has been raised from the dead, and for this reason the powers are at work in him. But others said, it's Elijah, and others said, it is a prophet like the prophets of old. But when Herod heard it, he said, John, whom I beheaded, has been raised. For Herod himself had sent men who arrested John, bound him and put him in prison on account of Herodias, his brother Philip's wife, because Herod had married her. For John had been telling Herod, it's not lawful for you to have your brother's wife. And Herodias had a grudge against him and wanted to kill him, but she could not, for Herod feared John, knowing that he was a righteous and holy man, and he protected him. When Herod heard John, he was greatly perplexed, and yet he liked to listen to John. But an opportunity came when Herod, on his birthday, gave a banquet for his courtiers and officers and for the leaders of Galilee. When the daughter of Herodias came in and danced, she pleased Herod and his guests, and the king said to the girl, ask me for whatever you wish, and I will give it. And he solemnly swore to her, whatever you ask me, I will give you even half my kingdom. She went out and said to her mother, what should I ask for? She replied, the head of John the Baptizer. Immediately she rushed back to the king and requested, I want you to give me at once the head of John the Baptist on a platter. The king was deeply grieved, yet out of regard for his oaths and for the guests, he did not want to refuse her. Immediately the king sent a soldier of the guard with orders to bring back John's head. He went and beheaded him in the prison, brought his head back on a platter and gave it to the girl. Then the girl gave it to her mother. When the disciples heard this, they came and took his body away and laid it in a tomb. This is the witness of the early church. Thanks be to God.
Peace be with you. When your lover's in a dangerous time, lovers in a dangerous time, lovers in a dangerous time, lovers in a dangerous time. Don't the hours grow shorter as the days go by? Never get to stop and open your eyes. One day you're waiting for the sky to fall. Next you're dazzled by the beauty of it all. And we're lovers in a dangerous time. Lovers in a dangerous time. Lovers in a dangerous time. Yes, we're lovers in a dangerous time. Bruce Cockburn wrote this song in 1984. And as we tend to do with art, people over the years have tried to attribute meaning to the song, wondering what was going on in Bruce Cockburn's head at the time to make him write this song. What's the real meaning behind it? Some thought, oh, he must be referring to love during the dangerous years he spent during the civil wars in Central America. Others thought, oh, maybe he's referring to the dangers of being lovers during the height of the AIDS pandemic in the 80s. Well, in an interview in 1994, Cockburn told the story of what inspired this song. And he said that one day he watched his young daughter playing in the school ground, the schoolyard, maybe wanting to hold hands with some other child. And he thought about her future about the state of the world in which she would grow up. Coburn considered the difficulties she would face in such a violent and dangerous world, and how difficult it might be for her generation to have hope. So he wrote this song as an attempt to offer some kind of hopeful message, not only to her, but to everyone. Even though danger is all around, you still have to live. Even though danger is all around, you still have to give it your best shot. Even though danger is all around, you still have to love. On some level, we're all lovers, and we are always in danger. Have you seen the movie Schindler's List? Even though I saw it many years ago, there are scenes in that film which I remember so clearly, scenes just vivid in my mind. And one of those scenes is of two young people imprisoned at the Krakow concentration camp. Their names were Joseph and Rebecca. There they were, living in the confines of unspeakable cruelty, in the midst of torture, a place reeking of death and genocide. And it was in that very place that they decided to be married. I find that a remarkable choice. In a place of utter hopelessness, they chose hope. So much danger, and yet they chose to love. These fragile bodies of touch and taste, this vibrant skin, this hair like lace, spirits open to the thrust of grace, never a breath you can afford to waste. When you're lovers in a dangerous time, lovers in a dangerous time. When you're lovers in a dangerous time, lovers in a dangerous time. On a first read, it seems odd that Mark should tell such a long story about the death of John the Baptizer. I mean, the whole Gospel of Mark is only 16 chapters long, and Mark takes almost half a chapter to describe John's death. And parchment was not cheap or abundant in Mark's day, which could explain why he chose to cram so many sparse, short stories into such a small book. So I find it interesting that he should describe John's death so elaborately. It seems disproportionate somehow. But the details sure are interesting, aren't they? I mean, we've got illicit sex and marriage. We've got a prisoner in a cell because he had the courage to stand up to the ruler of the land. We've got scheming by one partner in that marriage to find the perfect moment to have the prisoner, her nemesis, killed. We've got the ego and the pride of the other partner who cannot refuse in front of his guests her request for the execution of said nemesis. I mean, this is the stuff of blockbuster movies. In short, we have a description of real danger. A corrupt system of domination and oppression, one which wields power through the sharp end of a sword and in which no one is safe. But I think the most important thing about this story of John's execution is where Mark places it in the framework of his gospel. I find this really interesting. What comes immediately before today's horror story is the story of Jesus sending out his followers to do ministry. He commissions the 12, go and love and serve. And so they do. They go and they love and they serve all over the countryside. That's that story. And then we have today's story of the death of John the Baptist. The story of just how dangerous it is for those who proclaim a message which stands in opposition to the authorities of the day. And then right after today's story, we have the story of the disciples returning to Jesus from having done their ministry that he asked them to do. Isn't that interesting? We have the story of John sandwiched between the stories of the sending out of the disciples and the return of the disciples. And right in the middle of their ministry, there's violence, and there's pain, there's resistance, there's danger all around. It's almost as if Mark is shouting at us, hitting us over the head with the reality that the ministry of God's love will always be done within the context of the world's suffering. The ministry of God's love will always be done within the context of danger. The world is a dangerous place. Always has been, always will be. How do faithful followers of Jesus respond to the suffering of the world? Well, they do it with love. That's how they do it. Followers of Jesus are called to love not only in spite of the dangers, but also in response to the dangers. And the dangers are many: pandemic, violence, self-serving political perspectives, driving your car, eating chemical-saturated foods. I mean, if you look hard enough, you'll see there's an element of risk and danger in just about every part of life. At times it all seems so big. It seems overwhelming sometimes. How on earth can we respond? Well, the song I've been singing, Lovers in a Dangerous Time, I think describes exactly how we are called to respond to dangers. Because the love that's described in this song is not just a sexual kind of love. Those who love are lovers. And Jesus calls us all of us, to be lovers. Lovers of kindness, lovers of hope, lovers of compassion, lovers of people, lovers of the earth and all its creatures, lovers of life. Jesus calls us to be lovers. And in dangerous times, Jesus calls us to be lovers. Now, I don't intend to minimize for a moment just how hard this past year and a half has been on everyone. This pandemic has brought with it isolation and heightened anxiety and cultural disruption and relationship strain. The list is long. It's very long. And yes, it includes for some physical illness and even death. This has been a hard year. For some, it's been a traumatic year. This is one slice of the dangerous times in which we live. And yet, even amid the difficulty, it is still possible for us to love. The presence of love does not depend on circumstance. We can be lovers in response to any circumstance. Google pandemic stories of hope, or pandemic stories of good news, or uplifting pandemic stories. Don't do it now. Do it after the service. Just see what you come up with. You're going to find a list of stories of people who have found creative ways to love during this crisis. Like the plumber in Toronto, I love this one, who last Halloween created candy chutes out of colorful PVC piping, and he attached it to people's banister so that they could stand at the top of their porch and drop candy down the chutes to children at the bottom. And you could have a chute for $25. What did he do with the money? Gave it to the local food bank. Or the story of the cashier who paid for the food of an elderly woman who courageously got out for the first time to get her own groceries, but in her anxiety, she forgot her wallet. or the people who have given gifts to, or banged on pots and pans for, or had drive-bys to show appreciation for frontline workers. The stories are absolutely endless. And what are these if these are not stories of love? Of how we can be lovers in a dangerous time. When you're lovers in a dangerous time, sometimes you're made to feel as if your love's a crime. Nothing worth having comes without some kind of fight. Gotta kick at the darkness till it bleeds daylight. And we're lovers in a dangerous time. Lovers in a dangerous time. Yes, we're lovers in a dangerous time. Lovers in a dangerous time. In January, we heard about the tragic death of 2 children connected with Knox. A vehicular accident took the lives of Amanda and Evan Lodge, 10 and 12 years of age, on their way home from an afternoon of skiing. Now, in the months that followed, people from Knox prayed prayers of light and healing and peace for the family, for Gregson and for Susan, and for Helen and Matt Fagan, together with their children. I bring this up today because on Tuesday of this past week, an article appeared in CTV News about the ways in which Alyssa, 9 years of age, and the surviving child of the accident, the way she has responded to this tragedy. Alyssa spent just over a week at McMaster Children's Hospital recovering from her injuries. And since returning home in February, she's been trying to find a way to give back to the hospital that helped her. Her hope was to volunteer on site, handing out goodies and toys to young children, but of course COVID made that impossible. So Alyssa decided to bake cookies. Bake some cookies, put them in a bag, sell a bag for $10, and she'd give that money to the hospital. Now, if Mom and Dad had hoped that this would be a small operation, they were in for a surprise. Even though they distributed only 10 flyers to friendly neighbors, that turned into hundreds of orders of cookies. And at her last physio appointment at McMaster last week, Alyssa gave to the hospital $5,000. Sometimes people ask me, how do we respond to all the suffering in the world, the ecological crisis, building collapse, war in distant lands, political tribalism? How do we respond to that? And my response usually goes something like this. Well, there's lots that we can do. We can support organizations. We can get involved. But we have to start with love. Everyone can love. We respond to the suffering of the world by loving in our own little world. That's how we respond to the suffering of the world. We respond with love. We confront the dangers and pain of the world with love. And here we have a child, Alyssa, someone who models for us how we can love in dangerous times. She is the hands and feet of Christ. Lovers in a dangerous time. Lovers in a dangerous time. We're all lovers in a dangerous time. Yes, we're lovers in a dangerous time.
Even though the rain hides the stars, even though the mist swirls the hills, even when the dark clouds veil the sky, God is by my side. Even when the sun shall fall in sleep, even when at dawn the sky shall weep, even in the night when storms shall rise, God is by my side. God is by my side. Bright the stars at night that mirror heaven's way to you. Bright the stars in light where dwell the saints in love and truth. Even though the rain hides the stars, even though the mist swirls the hills, even when the dark clouds veil the sky, God is by my side. God is by my side. Deep the feast of life, where saints shall gather in deep peace. Deep in heaven's light, where sorrows past beyond death's sleep. Even when the rain hides the stars, even when the mist swirls the hills, even when the dark clouds veil the sky, God is by my side. God is by my side. Blessed are they who sing the fellowship of saints in light. Blessed is heaven's King. All saints adore the Lord Most High. Even though the rain hides the stars, even though the mist swirls the hills, even when the dark clouds veil the sky, God is by my side. Even when the sun shall fall and sleep, even when at dawn the sky shall weep, even in the night when storms shall rise, God is by my side. God is by my side.
Thank you, MC, so much for sharing your musical gifts. And thank you to Hugh for his thought-provoking message of both comfort and challenge. Indeed, a message that we need to be hearing right now. The life and ministry of Knox Waterloo continues this summer with lots of things going on, and we are so grateful for the continuous ways that all of us continue to share God's love in the midst of the world. Knox has an annual opportunity to make lump sum payment to reduce the mortgage principal, a practice which has been instrumental to reducing our overall monthly mortgage payments. You are invited to consider making a contribution as you are able in the next week and a bit until July 20th, with a note indicating to apply the donation toward the annual mortgage principal paydown. This is a great opportunity, and we invite you to take advantage of it. This coming week, starting tomorrow, is our virtual vacation Bible camp, and there has been lots going on behind the scenes over the last few months to get this ready. This past week, deliveries of VBC in a box were made or picked up here at the church, with lots of crafts and different activities. And there's also a virtual interactive classroom for the participants, and lots of songs and drama and outdoor activities and craft instruction and different things. So although VBC looks different this year, it is still happening. We are so grateful for all those who are involved, the staff and various volunteers. So thank you, and we ask you to keep the participants in your prayer this week. September 12th is the target date for reopening Knox to in-person worship. The Knox COVID health and safety team will provide more details closer to the date, and all health and safety protocols required at that time will be followed. This week also marks the 25th anniversary of Hugh's ordination to ministry of Word and Sacrament. And so we are so grateful for Hugh and that he has landed at Knox Waterloo and is sharing in ministry with all of us here. I have known Hugh for, I think, almost as long as he has been ordained. I'm not actually sure when we first met. It might have been at a Presbyterian youth triennium. But we have known each other and become good friends over the years, and it is such an honor to share in ministry as colleagues now. Hugh has so many gifts, and I have seen him grow, and he's been a mentor to me, and it is good to be a partner and a teammate in ministry now. So some various people have shared their thanks to Hugh, and we're going to have a little bit of a video presentation to embarrass Hugh a little bit, just to thank him for just all the years of ministry and the growing and sharing he has done of God's love with so many people.
Hi, my name is Doug Kendall, and I'm pleased to be able to celebrate with Hugh this 25th anniversary of his ordination to the ministry of Word and Sacraments in the Presbyterian Church in Canada. Hugh and I first met at Presbyterian Music Camp, and I remember that week when we first met, we bonded very quickly over our love of swimming and our after-swimming ritual that we developed. And I remember also talking to Hugh about what our plans were for the coming year. He said he was going to take a year off, and then he was heading to Knox College to become a minister in the Presbyterian Church in Canada. I remember saying, Hugh, I'm going to Knox College to become a Presbyterian minister too. So, but I'm not going in a year, I'm going next week. And I said, I think you should rearrange your plans and come to Knox College when I go next week. The next week, Hugh arrived at Knox College. He managed to rearrange his plans and began seminary the same time I did. I'm thankful for that. We became friends in residence at Knox College as we lived together for that year. We went through seminary and our classes together. We developed ways of enjoying and surviving our classes at Knox College, especially getting through early church history and our special way of getting through that class. And then after graduation, we became colleagues in ministry 25 years ago. Hugh, you have a passion for ministry and for people and a passion for music, and you have a creativity that is astounding. All of these gifts have been a blessing to your congregations, to the Presbyterian Church in Canada, and to me. For that, we give thanks. I also look forward to the years that are ahead, the years of ministry and the years of serving together in congregations. And I look forward to the social times when we can be together again. I hope to be on our motorcycles together, traveling through somewhere in this coming year. Hugh, may God bless you with this celebration of your 25th anniversary of ordination. God bless you, my friend.
As I walk through this wicked world, searching for light in the dark and sanity, I ask myself, is all hope lost? Is there only pain and hatred and misery? And each time I feel like this inside, there's one thing I want to know. What's so funny about peace, love, and understanding? Oh, what's so funny about peace, love, and understanding?
Hey Hugh, Bruce Morrison here. Just wanted to send this message congratulating you on 25 years in ministry. You know, it's said that if somebody sticks with a job for a long period, like 25 years, they either really enjoy their job or they're paid exceptionally well. Having known what you've been paid, I hope you're enjoying your job. I realize this is a calling. I have been privileged to be able to be part of that ministry journey with you in your time at Guildwood. And I just wanted to say congratulations, and here's to as many more years as you want to stay involved in ministry. Thanks, Hugh.
As I walk on through troubled times, my spirit gets so downhearted sometimes.
Hugh, congratulations on 25 years since your ordination to ministry within the Presbyterian Church in Canada. I'm so glad to have worked with you and known you through all these years. I really appreciate your ministry. You are someone I always think of as being a little bit on the edge of ministry. That's to say that you live in sometimes uncomfortable tension with what the church means and how the church works and the institutions. And I think that brings a huge amount of creativity to your ministry and to the church. Probably sometimes at personal cost to you, but I think overall to the real benefit of the ministry within our church. Thank you for that. Thank you for your work with Assembly Council, for your work on the design team for General Assembly, for so many worship events that you've been a part of, for your connection with staff around the national office that you're always so supportive of. I thank you for that, and I'm glad you're in my band. Cheers and congratulations.
So where are the strong? Who are the trusted? Where is this harmony, sweet harmony? 'Cause each time I feel it slip away, it just makes me wanna cry. What's so funny about peace, love, and understanding?
Hugh Donnelly was trained at Knox College. In '96, he was ordained full of knowledge. Hugh spent time at St. Andrews, then went to the Beaches and Guildwood too. In 2019, Hugh accepted Knox's call. At Knox, we knew we had a super guy that was tall. He knew how to preach, he knew how to sing. It was all settled with one smooth swing. Oops, not so fast. Along came a bug. Everything shut, not even a single hug. The pandemic took charge. Across the world, this was large. And at Knox, we had to shut down. No worries for us, we had not a frown. For Hugh was our leader and ready to go. New rules, new ways to say hello. Now we know Hugh will not be put in a box. If you're in doubt, just check his socks. This guy handled Zoom for session or study, for friendly chats or meetings that maybe got muddy. The live streaming kept going for baptism and service. Hired an associate, Courtney. The church will flourish. Hugh and now Courtney, as a team, they have thrived. We continue to learn to connect with porch drops and virtual high fives. They keep us inspired and ready to grow. Together, using the Bible, they make it all flow. Yes, we have that guy that is tall, and now we know that he has it all.
There's one more brief message that I will read to you, and it's from Marlene Barnett, who is an elder at Beaches Presbyterian Church. And she says this: "Well, I met Hugh Donnelly when he applied to Beaches. Following that, we eased into a strong friendship that still exists. I, for one, enjoyed watching him grow into ministry during the years he was at Beaches, and I also enjoyed watching him interact with many people at music camp. It was great fun to be an observer when the guys formed the Lost Pilgrims, and more fun to watch them perform and grow as a group over the years. In spite of everything, we are good friends, and I wish him well in the ministry at Knox. Many blessings, Marlene Barnett." And now I'm going to pass things over to Deb, our clerical session at Knox Waterloo, to share some words.
Hugh, it's nice to see you. Yeah. On behalf of Knox Session and congregation, it is great to be here in person to share with you, acknowledge, and congratulate you on this 25th anniversary of your ordination. Typically, Knox does things a little differently in terms of celebrations. We would be probably a full choir. We would probably have a full congregation. We would have a party afterwards. We would have cake. Especially, we would have cake. We would have balloons. We would do this very differently. I'm sorry, we're going to have to wait to do that later. But today, we wanted to honor you and celebrate with you. You have been part of Knox since I guess I met you probably the summer of 2019 for the first time, when the session got to meet Hugh before. You actually started officially in October of 2019. But I think we can all say that Hugh has joined Knox seamlessly, brought with him all of his skills and his passion of ministry, and even with a pandemic and all sorts of other barriers thrown in his way, he has shown his skills and leadership with Knox. And so we very much appreciate you, and we'll celebrate with you later, the more typical way that we do. But again, congratulations, and nice to be here in person. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, Deb. What an abundance of gifts we celebrate today. The gift of Hugh and his leadership in and through the congregation and beyond, the musical gifts of MC, the time and devotion and expertise today of the tech team, Eric and Barb and Kathleen and Maeve. And we are so grateful for the many ways in which all of you continually give through your time, your leadership, and your talents, your resources towards the ministry of Knox Waterloo. May we continue to give generously in response of God's gracious love for us.
I still get up before the day breaks. I still walk down to the shore.
I watch the sunrise on the eastern ocean, but I don't sail to meet anymore.
How could they have let this happen? We saw it coming years ago. The greedy ships kept getting bigger and bigger, and the sonar told them where to go. This is my prayer in my battle. I dreamed that I was sailing upon the Sea of Galilee. We cast our nets upon the waters, and Jesus pulled them in with me. I will bring praise, I will bring praise. No weapon formed against me shall remain. I will rejoice, I will declare, God is my victory and He is here.
Last night I dreamed that I was sailing upon the Sea of Galilee. We cast our nets upon the waters, and Jesus pulled them in with me. God is my victory, and He is here.
Praise God from whom all blessings flow. Praise God, all creatures high and low. Praise God in Jesus fully known. Creator, Word and Spirit, one.
Let us continue in prayer. Generous God, we have so much to be grateful for, but today we give thanks particularly for Hugh. We celebrate 25 years of faithful and inspiring ordained ministry. We give thanks for all the gifts you've given him that he so enthusiastically shares with the church and world. We are grateful for his rare ability to really listen, to be present, and to walk alongside, for his ability to see people for who they really are and to celebrate, encourage, and nurture them, for his deep thoughts and the way he articulately and poetically shares them through the preached word, for his passionate pursuit of inclusion, of co-creating a church that is accessible and relevant to all, one that leaves lots of room for questions and wonderings, for his abundant creativity in worship and teaching, for his musical gifts that he shares so joyfully through singing and guitar, for his ability to relate to and include all ages in the life of the church. Continue to guide Hugh as he serves in ministry here at Knox, Waterloo, that new doors of connection may be opened and new ways of outreach formed, that new relationships may be built in your name, that together we might do amazing things in and through you. And all of God's people say, Amen.
Amen.
Let us join together in our final hymn, number 636, When Voices Are Confusing.
When voices are confusing, when right and wrong are blurred, we need your help in choosing the way to be preferred. Our feet are prone to wander in paths untrue, untried. O Christ, our strong commander, become our trusted guide. When truth is hard to follow, when fact is hard to find, when crowd appeals are shallow, reshape, renew our mind. Your ways we would be learning, oh, make our choices clear, that we the more discerning learning, the more may persevere. Our lives are yours, oh take us and shape our destiny. Through willing service make us all you would have us be. Confirm this high endeavor against the reign of strife. Great love be yours forever, the way, the truth, the life.
Before the benediction, I just want to say thank you. Thank you. Thank you. May the Christ who walks on wounded feet walk with you along the road. May the Christ who serves with wounded hands stretch out your hands to serve. May the Christ who loves with a wounded heart open your hearts to love. May you see the face of Christ in everyone you meet, and may everyone you meet see the face of Christ in you.
God lead you to the new places and points of view, roads to take, friends to make, more life to travel through. God lead you to the new places and points of view, roads to take, friends to make, more left to travel through.
I'm Hugh Donnelly, one of the ministers at Knox, Waterloo. Thank you for being a part of the worshiping community today. You can find us online at knoxwaterloo.ca, and you are always welcome to call us at 519-886-4150. This broadcast is made possible by you, listeners and friends of Knox, who support Knox's broadcast ministry. Please consider making a donation in gratitude as you are able, and may the peace of Christ be with you.